Hi, my name is Lana. Welcome back to my channel. Today I will be telling you about all the ebooks that I own that I've yet to read, and I was looking through the list of all these books, and even if I barely say anything about the books, it's going to be a very long video, so I decided to do like a part 1 with my nonfiction books and part 2 with fiction. So today we're gonna start with nonfiction. One of the reasons why I want to do this is not just to tell you about the books that I have that you might be interested in as well, but also since I have these books, some on my computer, some on my phone, I don't really get to see them a lot, so I tend to forget about them, which is unfortunate. And hopefully talking to you about them will remind me of what I have, and hopefully will make me excited to finally get to some of these. As for nonfiction, there are a lot of books that I prefer listening in audiobook form, just because sometimes these kinds of books that are, I don't want to say self-help. Is that self-help? Oh, I don't even know. But they tend to be a little dry, and it's hard for me to read them from a screen. But then again, when I do listen to them on an audiobook, I like to have the text, because if it's the kind of book that has a lot of information that I want to use in the future, want to reference it, I like to go back after the audiobook to the text and highlight and make notes and all of that, or like reread the chapters that I was most interested in. Usually some of these books I would not really pick up to read in ebook form, if that makes sense. It's a very weird system, but for some of these, basically what's happening is I'm waiting for the audiobook to become available in the library, so I can listen to it and read it together, or listen and then read. Okay, so the first book I have here is The Actor and the Target by Declan Donnellan. I have a bunch of actor books here. And this one was very popular a few years ago, at least in the circle of actors that I was in. Just based on the name, I'm guessing it will have some mention of the Stanislavski exercise method with concentration, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't really know exactly what's in it, but I love these kinds of books. I read several like these, and I always enjoy them. They're not always giving you some brand new information that you've never heard of, but what they do is they repackage things that you already know. It just like keeps the knowledge alive, if that makes sense. Next up, I have Atomic Habits, Tiny Changes, Remarkable Results, an easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. This is a very popular nonfiction book right now, or at least it was a few months ago. I feel like everyone was reading it. And it's definitely something I'm very interested in. I pretty sure I actually have the audiobook for this book, and it's not a long book, so I definitely should just start reading it. I love books like these, so I'm hoping I will love it. Then I have Beautiful on the Outside by Adam Rippon, a memoir. This is a memoir of Adam Rippon, who is the Olympic champion in figure skating from the US. I listened to a bunch of interviews with him. I follow him on Instagram, and he is so funny. And I feel like this book will be, first of all, very interesting because he does talk about being an openly gay athlete in the US and what that is like, what was his journey like, and his road to the Olympics. Adam is also a master of like short, funny stories, so I'm hoping that this book will also have those. I would prefer to listen to this on audiobook, so I'm waiting for the audiobook in the library, because memoirs are just so much better when they're read by the author. Next up, I have Dead Mountain, the untold true story of the Dyatlov Pass incident. This is a nonfiction book written by an American author about the tragedy that happened in the Soviet Union was it in the 70s or the 80s? I'm not even sure. And this book was recommended by Books and Lala. She absolutely raved about this book, and I really want to read it now. Don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure it's about a group of people who went camping in the mountains. All communication with them was lost, and they couldn't be found. But then when they were found, they were all dead. And the mystery element of this is the way they were found. It's not clear how they died. Some of them, I'm pretty sure the manner of their deaths were different, and there are a lot of things that just don't make sense. I'm not fully sure, but I know that there are over 50 different theories of what happened there, and I love a good mystery. I actually did a little research, and there are a lot of documentaries and books written by Russian authors about it. Apparently this one is one of the best books on it because the author traveled to the place and he interviewed people who were in any way connected to the tragedy. So it's a little, so it's a very like in-depth look at the case. Next up I have Games People Play, The Psychology of Human Relationships by Eric Byrne, MD. This is this started with fictional characters in books that I love reading from the perspective of, it's the kind of character whose mind works like a chess game. They are always thinking 5 steps ahead. Whenever they, are in any group of people, they're very aware of what each person wants and how to get it, and they're like master manipulators, and they're always calculating everything. My mind doesn't work like that. I kind of wish it did because I'm a control freak and I would love to just know what's going to happen at any point, but I'm not. But I do, that kind of thought process is fascinating to me, and this kind of sounds like it explores that. Then I have Respect for Acting by Uta Hagen. This is a book on acting by the incredible Uta Hagen. I've heard this book mentioned by almost every teacher I've ever had on acting, and I feel like it's time for me to start reading it. Next, I have the Meisner on Acting, another book that I've never actually read the whole thing. I was mostly trained on the Meisner technique, and so I'm very familiar with it, but then again, I never really read his book, and I feel like it will be interesting and educational for me. Next up, I have a silly book, The Little Book of Self-Care for Gemini, Simple Ways to Refresh and Restore According to the Stars. Don't judge me. I'm not expecting this book to change my life. What I want to get from books like that is to inspire me to create more space in my life for more self-care in general. This sounded like a fun read. Then I have The 5 Love Languages, The Secret to Love That Lasts by Gary Chapman. You probably heard of the concept. I'm very intrigued by the concept. I really like it. Even just like knowing about this book, about this theory, and looking at different tests and talking to people in my life about it, and guessing what is my love language, what could be yours, and just opening the conversation to how I like to receive love and how I like to give out love has already been so beneficial to my relationships with people in my life. So I would love to actually read the book and get more in-depth information on it. So next up we have, in the same realm, The Honest Enneagram, Know Your Type, Own Your Challenges, Embrace Your Growth. I really enjoy the Enneagram. I actually did the official test, and I made my sister do the official test. And it was so fun looking at our results. It's been a while, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the Enneagram is looking at your personality based on what you desire. And I think it's so wonderful. Just, looking at our results with my sister has opened up a lot of conversations, and I feel like we know each other even better now. And I do want to read the book to learn more about the whole system of the Enneagram and learn about other types as well, because I mostly just know my own and my sister's. If you're interested, I am type 5 mostly. Another thing I love about the test is that you're not given, you're this. It's like, well, most of you is this, but you also have this much percentage of this type and this type, which I really like because we never embody just the one thing. And it's also great because it gives you would think that you know yourself, but then when you read it, the description of, your type, what you value, what you need, the Enneagram tells you what they need from other people, how they feel valued. And that was also very interesting, getting to that part of the text when I got my results back and talking through that when my sister reading oh, you need people to do this, that makes you happy. And I was just like, oh my God, I never thought about it, but that's true. Yeah, this makes me feel loved. And my sister has completely different things. So I just like these things, astrology and Enneagram, because it helps me understand other people better and be a more compassionate person. Next up, I have the upside of your dark side. By being your whole self, not just your good self, drives success and fulfillment. I actually don't remember buying this book, and it sounds interesting. I mean, I know as much as you know about this book. I have no idea what this is about. So I don't even know what to tell you. I'm not very excited to read it just because, again, I don't remember why I picked it up. It must have looked interesting. Next up, I have Your Art Will Save Your Life by Beth Pickens. And this is a short book that was recommended by a friend for artists and creatives, about how your art will save your life. That's all I know. And next up I have Steal Like an Artist, which again is a book for artists and creatives, and I have not read it, but I'm pretty sure it talks about how there is no art that is fully original, and there's no art that's not original at all. Because we're always inspired by other people and what other people have created. So even if you're not trying to copy someone, everything all the art you've ever consumed is in it. I really enjoy this concept. It's very important to me. It's helped me a lot when I was composing my show, when I'm writing music, because it helps you respect your work more. If I think of the music that I'm writing as a collection of every single melody and song that I've ever heard in my life, it comes out into this melody. It puts whatever I do on a different level, and it creates, as I said, more respect for what I do. Everything that I write has value because in that melody there's my experience and my history with music. And last one I have is Maybe You Should Talk to Somebody. This book I want to read so bad. And in fact, I want to read it so bad that I even started reading it on my phone. But it's so hard for me to read nonfiction on my phone. As I said, I either have to have the physical book or the audiobook. There's just something, I cannot pick up my phone and read nonfiction. I don't know why. I'm really waiting for the audiobook for this one, because I know that this is exactly the kind of book that I will absolutely adore. This is a book that's written by a therapist, and she tells you different stories of her clients and how she's working with these clients, and she also included herself within these stories to sort of also showcase that your therapist has a therapist and that we're all human. And I really like that concept that she not only helps other people and shows how she's helping other people work through their issues, but that she on top of that has her own issues that she also has to sort through on her own, or with a therapist. So it just sounds fascinating. I love these kinds of books about therapy and psychology. Thank you so much for watching. I feel like I should apologize that I'm going to make a separate video for fiction, but it just would be too long of a video. And yeah, I don't like editing long videos. I found that I don't like editing in general. Do you guys, if you make videos, do you enjoy it? Because I find that it's the worst part of all of this. Anyway, I hope you have a great day. Let me know if any of these books sound interesting to you or if you've read them. So have a great day and thank you for watching.